Warning, the following video includes opinions. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, spoiler alert.
Star Wars, the third highest grossing movie franchise and my personal favorite. Even though it currently sucks. Nonetheless, it was once good, so today I'm ranking every single Star Wars movie. The Last Jedi is by far my least favorite movie. Near the start of the movie, a hole gets blown up in the side of the ship, sucking Leia out into the middle of space, and then just, floats right back in, which looks stupid. Anyway, now someone else has to lead, and unfortunately, that character is my most hated character in anything. Now they're in big trouble because they can't escape from the First Order, so naturally she does nothing about it and just lets people die. So Finn has to go to this casino planet to find this master hacker or something, and this whole part of the movie is just a waste of time. They find the hacker dude, but he betrays them later, so nothing is accomplished here. Meanwhile, Post tries to start a mutiny because their leader hasn't done jack squat, but then Leia wakes up and shoots him because apparently there's a plan the whole time, but they didn't want to tell anyone. But it doesn't even work! The plan was stupid! And I haven't even gotten to the worst parts of this movie. While that's all happening, Rey's getting trained by Luke Skywalker. Well, she isn't getting trained because she already knew how to do everything and is just great at it naturally. During this, it's revealed that Kylo Ren is evil because Luke Skywalker saw that he might do something in the future, and so, naturally, as one does, he attempts to murder him. So you're telling me that Luke Skywalker, the person who saw good and the most evil person ever, who kills freaking children, somehow saw good in him, but as soon as he sees that a teenager might do something bad, he immediately tries to kill him? That doesn't make any sense! And finally, at the end, Finn is going to make this heroic sacrifice in destroying this beat heat laser thing so that everyone else can survive. Psych! He doesn't do that because this imbecile stops him from doing it, saying, "We win by saving the people we love," which is exactly what he was about to do. This movie is garbage, 1 out of 10. The more time goes by, the more I dislike this movie. Han Solo in this movie is more similar to the one at the start of A New Hope than the one at the end of Return of the Jedi, which undercuts the character art that George Lucas gave him in the original trilogy. Also, Rey being Kylo Ren, who has literally trained his whole life, doesn't make that much sense. I mean, he's trained his whole life and then just gets beaten by some person who just picks the thing up. But The Last Jedi does it way worse, so that's not horrible, but it's still bad. Overall, 5 out of 10, it could have been worse. Half of this movie is good, however, the other half is pure cringe. The dialogue between Anakin and Padme is extremely bad, the only exception being the "I don't like sand" line. That is pure gold. The other half of the movie is good, but it does get dragged down because the dialogue is bad. Not as bad as the dialogue between Anakin and Padme, but it still ain't good. 6 out of 10. If the dialogue was good, it might have been one of the best. I'm gonna be honest, I spun a wheel to decide which of this and the next one was better. This movie only made it in on a technicality. Most people don't count this when they're ranking Star Wars movies, but I decided to because there's gonna be some guy who would have said, "You forgot this movie." So that's why I'm including it. This movie is just decent. There isn't really much to talk about in this movie, except something I noticed while watching it is there are parts of the movie where the music doesn't sound like Star Wars music. Anyway, that's it. 6 out of 10. This one is just decent. It does the bare minimum to be good. There is a weird thing where apparently Lando is in love with a robot, so that's something. Movie. 6 out of 10. This movie is garbage. Maybe even worse than The Last Jedi. I am ashamed to admit, however, that when I was 10 years old, when I first watched it, it was my favorite movie. At the time, not anymore though. Now, I just find it funny how bad this movie is. The opening title scroll thing references something that was only heard in Hi, future me here. Turns out, the rest of the audio for Rise of Skywalker got corrupted, so I have to sit here and re-record this whole thing again. Now, here's the thing that was from Fortnite.
At last the work of generations is complete. The great error is corrected. The day of victory is at hand. The day of revenge. The day of the Sith.
I find it funny how they don't even try to explain how Palpatine is alive. Instead, the comedic gold that is somehow Palpatine returned. This also blatantly rips off Avengers Endgame, but Disney owns them both, so I guess it's okay. This movie makes no sense whatsoever. 4 out of 10. It's so bad, I love it. And I hope I don't have to re-record anything else for this video.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
Phantom Menace is the first actually good movie on this list. The other ones have been decent to
Twice. It happened twice. Anyway, the whole movie gives me nostalgia from LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, because the demo on the iPhone only had the Phantom Menace on it. Most people hate this movie because of Jar Jar Binks, however, he doesn't bother me. And, in fact, he's my Pop-Pop's favorite character in Star Wars. Side note, I used to think Jar Jar was a girl because in most LEGO games, girls can jump high and so could Jar Jar. The lightsaber fight at the end is the second greatest lightsaber fight in Star Wars. 7 out of 10. I'm now realizing that I talked more about LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga than The Phantom Menace.
This one is by far the best Disney Star Wars movie. Unlike the other ones, this one actually respects the Star Wars movies that came before. The hallway scene is awesome. Everyone knows that. That's just a fact. And also in this movie, Darth Vader makes a dad joke. So that's cool. 8 out of 10. This movie is great. It wraps up the original trilogy perfectly. The only issue with this movie is there's this weird song thing at the start of the movie, which whenever I rewatch this movie, I just skip it. But besides that, this is perfect. 9 out of 10, so close to perfection. Really, the only things that is agreed upon when it comes to Star Wars is that the music is great and Revenge of the Sith is the best movie in the prequel trilogy. The lightsaber fight at the end is the greatest lightsaber fight in all of Star Wars. This movie also inspired the best level in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, being Darth Vader. That level is amazing. Unfortunately, in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, they ruined it. But that's besides the point. This is also the most quotable movie ever, in my opinion. 9 out of 10. The one that started it all. This movie is amazing. There is not a single thing wrong with this movie. It's so freaking good. Everything in this movie just works. What a great movie to start a franchise. 10 out of 10. It's fantastic. This is probably... Dang it, ESPN. Anyway, as I was saying, this is probably my favorite movie. It introduces so much to Star Wars. There is one part that's a little weird. Leia kisses Luke, but George Lucas didn't decide that they were going to be siblings at the time he made this movie. And it's a meme at this point. It also has the most iconic line in movie history, but is also frequently misquoted. The quote is, "No, I am your father, not Luke, I am your father." Anyway, this movie is awesome, 10 out of 10. Well, anyway, that's the ranking. I hope you all have enjoyed. Later.